I have set before you today life and prosperity, death and adversity. Choose life. Please. I think it was Henry Ford, the developer of the American automobile assembly line, who once said, "Whether you think you can or think you cannot, you are right." I find it a sobering thought to consider that what we think, what we believe, what we choose is what we receive. Not always in the context of our circumstances. We don't choose everything that happens to us. We don't choose those things that others might choose to do to us. I might choose to win the lottery, but that won't make it happen. I might always choose to drive safely, but it doesn't mean others will. Someone might come down with a serious disease. It doesn't mean that they've chosen it. We don't always choose the context of our circumstances, but we do choose the character of our responses. And whether we believe we can respond in a wholesome, caring, honest, decent, and life-giving manner, or whether we believe we cannot, we are right. When Jesus taught his followers how to live, it was their character that he sought to transform. Not only their actions, but their character. You see, he told them it wasn't simply enough to follow the law. Rather, they were to choose to fulfill its deeper intentions. The law says not to murder. Jesus says, choose to give no harbor to hatred. The law says not to commit adultery. Jesus says, choose to respect another. And give no harbor to untoward thoughts in your heart. The law provided for a man to divorce his wife. Jesus asked his followers to choose fairly, to consider just what such a divorce would mean to a woman who's done no harm to her husband, a divorce that would leave her with no family, no means of making a living, and no prospect to enter honorably into a new relationship. Divorce was essentially a death sentence. The law provided that a person could take an oath to assure their word was true and good. Jesus asked that we choose to honestly utter our yeses and our nos. He knew that there is no oath so strong that we cannot break it. Better to choose honesty. I suppose then that as a follower of Jesus, I am not a particularly law-abiding person. The law exists to govern our relationships in the absence of those deeper choices for truth, honesty, fidelity, decency, and love. Just law there is to force a behavior that it would be better to choose on one's own. It is something, then, beyond the law that Jesus advocates. He speaks for right relationship, for the fulfillment of the better parts of our nature, for a caring response to the context we may not have chosen, but in which we live. I mean, can it be so simple, really, as to sort of understand, just as an ordinary example, that we don't observe a speed limit to prevent us from driving as fast as we want, or because we just want to follow the law. Rather, we might observe a speed limit as a means of providing the best possible situation for everyone on the road to be safe. Is it so simple to believe that in Christ, the basis of the law becomes consideration for the well-being of others? Why not? I believe it's so. For in providing that consideration for others, we live most fully into what we are being called to be. And we find our greater satisfaction as human beings. Look, we can fight. We can strive for what we want, no matter the cost to another person. We can choose to ignore a call to decency and consideration and love. We can practice the letter of the law and never fully care for another human being. We can live in loveless marriages, angry and illicit relationships and dishonest discourse. We can even cynically believe that this is nothing different than our human nature. If we look around the world, we surely see that much of it is a mess. But whether we think we can live differently after the manner of Jesus or whether we think we cannot, we are right. And when we choose not to live as we've been called, what peace is there in our lives? It doesn't matter how smart we are, how powerful we are, how rich or well-educated or gifted we are. Eventually, if we would choose to live wholesomely, happily, and well, we need to realize that the commandments of Jesus to love God and to love our neighbors as ourselves are in place for our own good. They're in our best interests, and they're worthy of every effort that we make to fulfill them. And when we're stuck, when we might choose our own course, what then? Look, it's an old story, but it would do well to hear it again, or maybe for the first time for some. But the story is told about the night when a great American aircraft carrier was steaming up the English Channel. And before them they saw the flashing light of another ship coming their way. And so the lieutenant of the watch said to the signal officer, "Make signal to that ship. We're on a collision course. Suggest you alter course 10 points to the north." A few minutes later, the signal officer returned with a reply which said, "You are on a collision course, and suggest you alter your course 10 points to the south." The lieutenant showed the message to the captain, who ordered a reply. "This is the captain of the ship. My ship has right of way in this channel. Suggest you alter 10 points to the north." After a little while, the answer came back. "This is Able Seaman Jones of Her Majesty's British Navy. Your ship does not have right of way in this channel. Suggest you alter course 10 points to the south." Well, the captain was infuriated. He showed the note to the admiral, who ordered the next message. "This is the admiral. I demand right of way in this channel. Suggest you alter your course 10 points to the north." And a few moments later came the reply. "This is the lighthouse on the Eddystone Rock. I'm not moving. You can do whatever you want." When we find that the course that we are taking causes us troubled hearts, when we perceive danger before us, when we recognize that we are acting outside of the will of God for our lives, perhaps it's our hearts that need to alter course.